Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the We Know Love Island podcast here on the RHAP YouTube. My name is Kirsten MacInnis, joined as always by the wonderful Brian Scally. Scally, how are you?
Oh, hello. I'm so good. We're finally in real Love Island. It's not just the premiere anymore. The people are kissing a lot, and I am excited
Yes.
to talk about all of it.
I like how you say it as if they weren't kissing a lot in the premiere because it was a
Valid.
pretty kiss heavy premiere, but that's fine for anyone who doesn't know. The way we cover Love Island is we cover the first half of the week after the Tuesday episode and the second half of the week after the Friday episode. So this is episodes 2 through 4 of Love Island USA season 7. If you don't want to be spoiled, then go binge 3 episodes of TV real quick and come right back.
Love Island's great on a binge, so you'll have a great time, and then an even better time here where we talk about all of the mess because, Kirsten, this batch was messy.
Yes, this is very messy. We got right into it, and I'm sorry, I just got someone literally just messaged on Blue Sky and said, "Oh my god, have you guys seen the clips of the lost IUD?" And Skelly,
Okay,
have you seen this?
I
Because
have.
it's not an IUD.
Yes. Wow,
It
what a way to
does.
open the podcast.
We
Less
have.
than 2 minutes in.
We've done worse. I'm pretty sure the feed is marked as explicit in Apple Podcast, so it's fine. Um, there's a scene where it really looks like there's a lost IUD on the ground, but Ariana has commented that it's part of like one of the flower arrangements.
Yeah, there's I don't know if it's a Reddit detective or online detective was like, I actually zoomed in past episodes and found that it's a part of the plants. And I was like, I have so much respect for your talent because
Well,
I could not.
I'm
But
scared of
yeah,
that person. What will they find out about me?
look, I respect them. I don't have any ill will.
And
So
we love them. We are fine. But yeah, I did it. I mean, it does really look like a
it's a
certain
funny screenshot.
medical device.
It is probably the funniest screenshot that's come out of there, out of Love Island so far. Though I will say, Austin sniffing his underwear on the second day in the villa is very close.
My brain doesn't allow me to actually perceive that, just to protect myself. So I'm going with the flower arrangement piece that looks like an intrauterine device. Um, but yes, okay. We have so much Love Island to talk about, per usual. Just up top, I want to say the We Know Love Island feed is live on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So please take a moment, go to the podcast app of your choice, give it a 5-star rating and review. We will even read some on the show as they come in. The feed's too new for us to see any yet, but I believe in y'all that you are
Yeah.
doing it. So please continue. And the WeKnowLoveIsland.com website is also there. So
The little known
WeKnowLoveIsland.com.
the little known fifth base, subscribing and rating 5-star reviews on our podcast. So that is what you want to hit. Uh and we'll get to that challenge, but first, Kirsten, where we left off. There's a lot of bombshells coming in this stretch.
And thank God for bombshells. Raise your hand if you want to hear about bombshells.
And quite a few people did go, in fact, raise their hands. We thought this was going to be the only way that they might be eligible to go meet said bombshells. And I would say every guy except for Jeremiah raises their hand. And she who will not be named any further because she has been since removed from the villa does also be she's the only woman to raise her hand in this spot.
And Charlie said, nope, Shelly's coming in.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Good on Love Island. They acted. We talked about some
Yes.
stuff on social media that had been found from Ulyssa. So she has been unceremoniously removed from the villa. Very happy with that decision.
And we've already talked about it more than the show did.
Yeah, that's very true. They tend to just and they're gone. Bye on the show. So glad that they got her out of there. Now, she did not get asked to go into the hideaway, but instead Charlie asked Shelly to come in, and Sierra asked Nick.
And to be fair, Nick did not raise his hand as aggressively as we thought that he was going to, but he did raise his hand. But we thought it was going to be like shooting up, like knows the answer in class kind of situation.
Yeah, no, the first one was Ace, which Ace stays messy, and I appreciate him so much for it. It is giving troublemaker, but you know that I appreciate that casting type.
Yes. Think about the messiest person you know. It's Ace. And I love him for it.
Yeah, I mean, immediately as soon as they take their blindfolds off, Ace is like, so who wants to volunteer who kissed who? So, like, he is down to spill the drama. He wants the dirt, but very quickly, a couple of them are stolen away.
Yes.
We have Shelly and Nick going into the hideaway, going in the hot tub, even very quickly getting into the closet of sex toys. So that has to be a record.
Yeah, that's the fastest we've ever seen the closet of sex toys on Love Island USA. I think we can say with confidence. It was, to me, just like such a strange vibe to have two couples in the hideaway at once, especially when it's like people who don't know each other that well. Because then they're like, I think Charlie and Shelly slept inside and Sierra and Nick like slept outside, but then it was like, so you're not even in the hideaway, so like could the other islanders have come out and seen them in the bed? Like it was just so they should have like had bunk beds or some shit. I've seen on
Not
TikTok
bunk beds.
they make queen size bunk beds. I saw it on
No,
TikTok.
that would have been horrific. I thought it was a
I
little
mean, no
odd
one
when they're
hooked
like,
up.
well, there was some making out. But I would say that the separation was good because when they had the idea to all four go in the hot tub, it felt really awkward. I felt like nothing was ever going to get accomplished there. So I was glad that they, in fact, split up. It gave Nick time to pretend like he's ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender. So that was good.
I love this because we always have to have one interaction of two people bonding over liking something that is like universally beloved. Every season there's something like that. And Sarah's like, yeah, I want to dress up as, Katura for Halloween. And I just know my guy Nick just assumed that Katura and Zuko ended up together as they should have. And so he was confused when she was like, oh, you're going to dress up as the Avatar?
He's like, oh, I'm gonna dress up as what's that guy's name? Do you mean the Avatar, The Last Airbender, the title of the show that you proclaim to be in love with?
Well, it's funny too, because like first she goes, oh, the bald one, and then that does not ring a bell for him.
It's so bad. But though he's like, I'm so down for this costume, I'll shave my head. I was like, okay, the level of commitment for a show that you've seemingly never watched, very high.
And I'm just gonna say it. A big part of Nick's appeal is his hair. He should certainly not shave his head.
Look, it's for a good reason,
He can wear a bald cap.
Sure, but he's all in on Sierra until he's not, which we'll get to. So he is very in on Sierra. He's talking about how much he liked when she grabbed his chin and moved his face to kiss him. They are running it back, recreating that using Sierra's sleep mask as the blindfold, making out again in the bed outside. This one heated up very quickly.
I mean, Nick has been paired up with Bella, who does not want to kiss anyone. So the minute someone wants to make out with him, of course he's going to be all in. Side note, people online have been calling her Belle Dash A, and it is very funny.
I've heard about Belle A. Where the hell have you been, Loke A? She is very much getting many jokes online.
And imagine if she had just done as you said and kissed everyone on the cheek in that challenge. That would have like set her into the stratosphere.
Would have been very, very funny, but no, instead she is left stressing a little bit back at the villa, wondering. Go ahead.
I just have to say, and it's not just about Bella, it's about pretty much everyone. Anyone who's in a couple, I feel like they're acting like they've built up to like mid-season Love Island level of coupleness. This is day 2. You don't know these people. None of it is worth stressing this much about. Like, I understand if you're stressed because you don't want to go home first, but you don't know these people. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah, there is. I mean, basically, the only conversation we get from Alandria and Taylor this week is the discussion of the fact that he stood up
Yes.
when he was expressing interest later in the week in the new bombshell. And she says basically, like, I didn't know that that outweighs all that we have here. I know that we say that we're open. And he's frustrated that she kissed someone, like, kind of in the challenge, not like totally, but he brings it up a lot for not being frustrated. So
Yeah, and
I like that they're so quickly connecting in that when they break up, it'll be messier. But at
yes.
the same time, like, be messy now.
Well, and that's the thing, we just need that one combustible element to come in to really shake everything up, and then I think we'll be really happy with everyone's, like, level of attachment to each other getting broken up and all of that, but while we're waiting for it, I'm like, "Okay, come on, do something." In tonight's episode, I was like, "The season needs a Rob."
Whoa, okay. I've
And
seen
I
some
don't even
Rob comparisons. I'm not quite
like
there yet.
him! Which
I think we're warming up. This season needs a Rob. We're on episode 4, and I feel like these people have been plenty messy. We have, I mean, we will get into Nick and Bella and Sierra. I feel like that has been the messiest of triangles.
yes.
We have Shelly, who is in this hideaway talking to Charlie, and things are getting very vibey. Charlie
Yes.
constantly talking about, like, what type of music do you listen to? I listen to everything. It's like, okay, well, it's not an interesting discussion. I am someone who also listens to a lot of different types of music. But when you say everything, I have nowhere to go with that.
Yeah, no, there's nothing there. I will say that by the end of tonight's episode, I thought, "Oh, I think Nick is the Rob," and was feeling a lot better by the end of the
Yeah,
Friday episode.
definitely. We have heard that comparison going around a little bit. Curious to see if that actually does develop. But for now, what do
We'll
we got?
see.
We got Charlie and Shelly bonding over having written music before.
Yeah, and it's like they didn't even really say anything. Like, it's just like what you said with the, like, "Oh, what type of music do you listen to?" "Oh, everything."
Yeah.
Like, they just say, "Oh, yeah, I wrote music," and I think Shelly said hers is, like, an indie vibe, but then indie just means independent. That
It's
can
a
mean
lot.
so many different, like, if you I'm sure that there are, like, kind of specific, like, buckets that indie music kind of fits into, but, like, there's more than one. That doesn't really tell you that much. Like, they should have, like, sang a song or something. I don't know.
Sure. I think that this gets a lot more interesting when they do return to the villa. Shelly and Charlie are pretty flirty, especially down on that dock, talking about how Shelly's going to consult with the stars to see if they'll have another kiss. And he's like, "Oh, I actually can read the stars," and they say we're going to be kissing right now. So I thought honestly it was like kind of smooth. It did seem to work, and so I was surprised that this doesn't seem to go much further than the dock.
Yeah, it's it's strange, but I think it's because at the same time that they kind of get back, this is when Ace is now single in the villa, right? And so he is really starts applying pressure to Shelly about, like, "Oh, I miss you, like, you were taken from me." Uh,
Yeah, this does work well when he says basically like, I was missing you, yeah, you were taken from me. She's like, we were not coupled up. Excuse me. He's like, oh, I forgot, which he can do pretty freely since he no longer has someone that he's coupled up with in the
yes,
villa.
and it's not like he chose that couple
Yes,
either. So,
true.
I feel like he can very much get away with that,
For sure, for
and
sure. Yeah, I mean, it is, yeah, it feels like Shelly and Ace have been trying to slow burn it, but at the same time feeling very inevitable.
there's an invisible string. It's just the way that it is. Um, but also, like, Ace is just messy, and I love that. So, it's fine.
Extremely messy. Ace brings, I think, 3 girls breakfast at one morning. So I'm like, oh, the options are open. Like, and I think that was partially being nice, but yeah, Ace stays open.
Ace stays open, which is what he needs to do. Um, he also at one point, like, pulls Bella aside, which made me laugh really hard.
It's a little bit of a random pairing, but look, Bella is feeling some type of way about Nick going to the hideaway. He doesn't talk to her for like a long time after like any event. So, she's not busy. They may as well talk.
Yeah, she's free. She's
So,
free.
yeah.
And then I guess the big question is there anything like I guess we should talk a little bit just before the bonfire, just because the inklings of Huda's jealousy are present at that point, because Sierra comes in and Huda's like, I can tell that you're her type. Like, you
Yeah.
should be with me.
They both have a little bit of jealousy that I would say gets expressed in the early portion of this stretch. Jeremiah asking Huda, like, so who'd you kiss? Who'd you go over and kiss? And she promises nothing. He's like, I just can't tell if I can believe that. Like, I need to really think about it. I think I believe it, but I'm not sure. They both are jealous. They both like each other a lot. And I think that it is manifesting in the early stretch, especially.
It's manifesting toxically,
Look,
which we love for the show.
I know it's toxic. I am watching Jeremiah and
Oh
Huda,
my god,
and
you're rooting for love. Enough.
I hear the word love bombing getting thrown around a whole bunch. There are many times I'm sure that we will bring it up, but at the same time, and please, someone text me every day and I'm like, ugh, go away. But when I'm watching the love bombing and the probably toxic relationship, I'm like, oh, I kind of want this to keep happening.
Grow up, Scally. You do this every year. Every summer we sit here and you're like, I just love love. This is not love. They don't
It's
know each other.
It's not love. It's emphatically not love, but I love watching it. So that counts for something.
You're messy. You're gonna start making a like post to vote for them to win before the
No.
end of anything.
You are mistaking me enjoying them as a TV couple with me rooting for them to last forever. I'm not writing it off as a possibility, but I am enjoying where this could go. It's entertaining.
It is that. It is that. So the way the fire pit works this time is that if you decide if you're happy in your current couple or if you want to chance the coupling up with the bombshells, and you should stand up if you're interested in coupling up. And Nick stands up, Austin stands up, Ace has to stand up because he's single, and Taylor stands up, and no women stand up.
This is tough. Yeah, Austin pretty much says that he stood up because he thought that Shelly was going to stand up. But I think if you're Shelly, you can't stand up looking like it's in retaliation to Austin standing up. So it makes sense why it is so lopsided. Shelly also has expressed that she likes to feel chased. And so being the only woman to stand up for Charlie, I think was probably never going to happen, regardless of her level of interest. It would have had to have been very overwhelming. And I just don't think it is. But yeah, the fact that 4 out of 5 men stood up was pretty wild.
It was wild, but also again, this is like day 2, right? So they should all stand up. And Huda is sitting there with this smug look on her face. Oh, these boys are bad little kids. I'm so proud of Jeremiah. You guys all deserve real men. And it's like the things that she's saying are like supportive girl words to use. The way that she is saying them is in a look at me, my man didn't stand up and your man did. It's the vibe she's giving off. And Alandria's like, you don't have to do all that. We're not upset. I get that you're trying to be supportive, like we'll talk later.
It is, I think it's the combination. I think that like either would have been fine-ish. Like she goes a little over the top. I think it's the mid-sentence turning back to Jeremiah and being like, I'm so proud of you. You get bonus points. Like, you did so good. Is like, this is where it's weird. Like, I don't think that we needed that part necessarily. And I especially don't think anything that Alandria does is like out of line or weird for Hutta to
No,
be crying hysterically after
no.
this.
Alandria didn't even have like a tone. Like, it was just normal speaking voice. Like, we're not upset. You don't have to do all that. We'll talk about it later. Like,
Yeah.
it's fine. And yeah, Huda's like weeping that Alandria was so mean to her, and she's just a girl's girl trying to stick up for everyone. And meanwhile, Alandria is like, yeah, we had a conversation. We're gonna have a girls' chat later. And so then when she finds out that Huda's upset, she is like totally blindsided. That's not how she meant for it to come across. She immediately goes and apologizes, which like is a nice thing to do when you find out that something you've said has been misinterpreted and it hurt someone's feelings. It's nice to apologize and be like, I didn't mean it like that, and clarify. That being said, she did not have anything to apologize for.
No, and she very quickly is like, I do not want to be perceived as a mean girl here. And I think that that is probably a very large part of this is perception is very important on Love Island for the game portion, but also just for like life after. Look at some of the dislike people from last season and how it's going for them right now. Like, not amazing. So I understand the jump to like, let me fix this however I can. But I think that it probably could have been fixed through like a conversation rather than an apology. Like, I don't think that
I think with a rational person, it could have been solved with a conversation, not an apology. But I think Huda is the sort that requires the apology to move forward.
I'm curious to see. I mean, let alone how fast she's moved into a relationship with Jeremiah. She's talked about how they're sisters and they're so close, and she would never do that to her sisters. And, oh, Sierra, you've proven yourself as a sister, so now I can open up to you.
No.
Is she friendship love bombing?
Friendship bombing? In the same sentence, like before she says we're sisters, she says, I don't know any of these people that well. And then one sentence later, she says, and we're sisters. And why would you do that to me? So are you sisters or are you strangers, Huda? Because you sound insane.
I think she said she doesn't know the boys that well. Or maybe like as far as the boys, I don't know any of these people that well. But
why would she know the boys much worse than the girls? Again, it's been 2 days.
It's arbitrary boys chat, girls chat time. But the reality is, no, she doesn't know any of these people. They're not sisters. One of them's going to get kicked off in a week and they'll never talk to them again. So that just is the reality. I understand people are probably high stress, high emotion. I don't think that Huda was doing anything like on purpose, but it was a little much.
I think it points to just tendencies that I think we should keep an eye on for future conflicts that Huda will be in. That's all.
I definitely will be keeping in mind, I mean, any of the Islanders' behavior for a future conflict.
Yes. Well, I mean, when I say that, I'm not like, Scally, pay attention.
Oh, I know. We're getting there. But this fire pit does result in Charlie staying single because apparently no one has interest in him.
Which I think is dumb. I think they should have done it just like they did with the put your hands up, stand up if you want to be selected, but then they can choose anyone they want to be in a couple with. That is how it should have been, in my opinion.
I agree. I do think so too. Or at least let's introduce some stakes. Like, Charlie, you didn't do your job. Go home. I don't think that
exactly.
I don't think that put this as any random person, not just Charlie, but like, I don't think that the bombshell actually needs to be kicked out that quickly in theory. But if you're going to make this the requirement for them to couple up, well, then they did not successfully couple up and have some stakes.
Yeah, it's just weird now because now there's one single woman and two single men, and it's just like a strange dynamic for really 2.5 episodes.
Yeah. Yep. And even some of the couples that came back together after they stood up, like in Austin and Shelley, like that never recovered. Like very quickly became friendship vibes there.
They had a conversation and Austin says like, so what are you thinking? Like, do you still feel like there could be something romantic? And she just straight up says, No, I don't feel a romantic spark.
Which I think was kind of happening already as she's talking to Charlie, as she's talking to Ace. She admits that she's starting to reevaluate her relationship with Austin and starting to feel like friendship vibes. I think that had he not posed the question, maybe she would have entertained it for a little bit longer, at least
Mhm.
on the surface. But once confronted with it, it's like, yeah, no, you're right. This is a friendship.
I Once you're confronted with the fact that someone has sent thousands of nudes, it's hard.
Look,
And
the
that's
man
not
stayed
me
busy.
and it's not me judging people for sending nudes. I don't care if people send nudes or whatever, but I just think if you are that young and you have sent thousands, ain't no way they were all solicited. Like
uh,
just statistically speaking.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, I don't know what their business is. I'm not going to accuse anyone of that. But,
I'm just
so
doing simple math.
look, I think that COVID was a hard time, as some of them say. They're sending out nudes on the regular. They're in relationships and they can't see these people.
15 a day at least.
Look, you got to have an album.
Oh my god. He said if it looks good in the morning, you take a nude and you send it along. You could just keep them for like when the time is right, but I guess maybe the time is always right for some of
I
us.
guess what else are you putting on your Snapchat story these days? Well, Austin definitely had the like air of a much goofier, harmless guy. Is I think how a lot of the people they're like, oh,
Yeah.
he seemed aloof, he seemed fun, he seemed like just caring, and then to find out through a challenge that Austin actually was has a very high libido, as he puts it himself.
He's the dirtiest dog of them all.
Yeah,
Um,
Shelley was very shocked to hear.
I I was shocked to hear.
I don't know that I was shocked.
I I don't know. I can't I
Well,
just don't understand. I don't get it, but there are all kinds of us in this world, so it's
Nick said
okay.
800 nudes as well.
And I that is also so many, and I just think the idea of, like, thousands, so many that I have no clue like, that's the other thing too, like, there's some of the numbers in these challenges where I'm like, it's weirder to even know the number
Yes,
than
easy.
anything else, right? Like, when it gets to, like, sexual partners in the 100s or whatever, I'm like, I get it if you're just like, yeah, it's 100. It's I don't know, 100. Cool.
Yeah.
When you're like 114, I'm like, do you have a Google Doc? Like,
Yeah.
how are
No.
you keeping track of this?
You're not weird for sleeping with 108 people. You're weird for counting 108 people that
Yes,
you've slept with.
exactly. Yes.
Like, I don't know, at a point, like, you're an adult, stop counting. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
so
And to me, I'm like, it's not even like in the. I'm like, I feel like at like 20, it's like, is that 20 or like who cares? It doesn't matter.
just leave it. Basically, what I think is the game that this did come out in, State Your Case, was
Yes.
how games should be on Love Island. Thank you. I think Love Island USA has kind of perfected making these games impactful and messy in a way that some of the earlier seasons were not necessarily. So in State Your Case, in case you did not watch or in case you don't remember, the boys and the girls had to rank had to rank the islanders of the opposite gender from least to most for multiple prompts, and they
Yes.
would then find out if their suspicions were correct or what the actual answer was.
Can I tell you what I wish production had done with this challenge, even though it's kind of evil?
I think I know because I think I saw.
Oh, yeah, I did post it. But if anyone didn't see, I think they should have had a question of who do you think has the most children?
Honestly, unhinged, like truly diabolical. Yeah, I think that we complain about reality TV production quite a bit, but this might have taken the cake.
It's literally evil. It's not a nice thing to do. Um, but just imagine the moment where the case everyone's like, why would they even ask us this? And then the one case opens with the one. and everyone loses their minds.
I don't think there's a world in which she lets it get to the case opening. It's just like, I gotta tell everybody something. Like, nobody talk. And it would have just been like uncomfy and awkward. So I'm glad that they did not do it,
Yeah,
though I'm
maybe.
sure a somehow even trashier show would have.
Yes, but also Love Island, call me. I have ideas. We can consult.
Which of these questions were your favorite?
um, okay. The cheating question I found interesting because eh, like throughout the whole game, whenever the results are coming out, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, state your case." Like everyone like defend yourself for this, right? But so they had so Jeremiah gets caught that he's a cheater, which he had not told Huda. And he said, "Oh, it's a month in and I screwed up and I just went and told her right away." It's like, sure, okay. But then Nick's case opens and it's a 0 and he looks shocked. So he lied in his questionnaire, but he didn't remember that he lied. So then everyone knew that he lied. And then when it came out, he's like, "Oh yeah, it's the same thing. I really fucked up, and I lived up to it." It's like, did you, or are you just copying
Turns
what Jeremiah just said because you got caught lying?
Turns out that a lot of the boys were lying, in particular Charlie, because Charlie has extremely low answers to everything except for the number of past sexual partners. So people are questioning him, and it's Charlie's giving explanations like, "Oh, well, I've sent 0 nudes, but it depends what you qualify as a nude." And it's like, okay, what does that mean? Like, are you saying no face?
It's you can't tell me 0 on all of these things, Charlie. And like, here's the thing: lying about your answers on this, I understand why someone would want to do it. You don't want to actually face the facts of your past possibly having an impact on your future, right? But at least make it believable.
You said you don't respect the effort. I got you. Yeah, I don't
I
know.
like I don't like I respect owning your life. I don't respect lying.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I would say one of the questions that I found the most interesting was the most amount of people that they have had sex with in one day, because I didn't think that they would think to ask this necessarily, but we do get some fun answers.
I I guarantee you in the audition process for this show, Austin was like, "Once I slept with 4 women in one day." And they were like,
Yeah,
"Put
jot
that
that one down.
down. Use that for the thing." And then when they're asking everyone and several people have an answer larger than one, it's like perfect. And
Yeah.
so uh
Look,
oh,
they are
oh
shocked by Austin, but this is where he says he has a high libido. There's multiple 2s on the board. If you
yes.
have a threesome, does it count as 2? Is that how this works?
I mean, I would say
I
yes.
would assume so.
I mean, I guess like it would depend on the person you ask and how involved they were with each other person in the threesome, right?
Okay, so we're qualifying. Gotcha.
I mean, I think it depends on the like. I think yes, that counts as 2 people. I think that these horn dogs would be like, "Oh, but I like only did hand stuff with the one person, so it didn't count." You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Exactly. Like, well, they were in the room, but like,
um, I really didn't like, they kept putting Shelly to the like most amount of people to have sex with, most amount of people in a day, etc. Because they were like, I think Taylor says it even. He's like, "Well, you have more options because you'll date men and women," and just the casual stereotyping of bisexual people in the way that they are often stereotyped to that it makes them more promiscuous because they're interested in people of multiple genders, which is just like patently not true.
yeah. Yep. Definitely a stereotype, not inherently good or bad, just a stereotype that
Yes.
does exist and does pop its head up here, which, you know what? It loses the boys' points. So at least it worked for something.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Can we talk about Bella going on Love Island with only one past partner?
One past partner, sent 0 nudes, only told one person she loved them. Yeah, Bella is very innocent.
Well, that's
To
what she calls
about,
herself.
I was gonna
Bella
say,
herself says that she's an quote innocent ting because also she talks like 7 different people depending on who she's with or what she's around.
yeah, when she tells Charlie that she loves his accent and he says he loves hers, I was like, all three. Because
Well, and if I was Bella, I would have been like, what accent?
yeah, he's
But at the same time, it's also like obviously to Charlie, she definitely has at least one accent, but
yeah. Yeah, she's like, I heard it was annoying. I was like, no, that's just one of them. But for yeah.
that's just one of them.
Mm,
I'm dying. I would love to see the people that Bella surrounds herself with in the outside world, the media she consumes, the influencers she follows, because I want to know where all these different pieces came from.
maybe she's just moved around a lot, but I have questions. Bella interests me kind of as a person in general. I think that she was coming off obviously very reserved, which I still had some interest in as a character on Love Island because I felt like it was creating a decent amount of drama. But especially after the challenge later in the week where Bella just goes for it and makes out with everyone out of
Unleashed.
nowhere.
Bella Unleashed.
I am very confused by her as a character, and I feel like I need to know more before I am ready to say goodbye.
I feel like she gives me Hailey Bieber vibes in a way
Okay.
of like her actions are kind of incomprehensible, and I think that she is ultimately just kind of regular, but also she's surrounded by just not regular right now, and so it's compelling.
Interesting. Okay. I'll take your word for it. I don't know Miss Bieber all that
I
well, but
I wish I had the article pulled up, but there's an article about Hailey Bieber where it's about the article's about Justin Bieber, and then they go back to the hotel room to find Hailey, and it's like Hailey was sitting on the bed, not on her phone, not watching TV, not playing a game, no watercolors, no sketchbook, no like she was just
okay.
sitting waiting for Justin. And I feel like I could see Bella in that situation.
Interesting. Sure. Look, it is certainly an interesting watch to see Bella essentially tell Nick that she has no interest in getting to know him at any point once he actually goes through with it and couples up with Sierra, to then walk that back, to then make out with every guy in the villa, to then kind of talk to Charlie. Like it's been at least something going on for Bella.
Yes, she's had a story. So, I'm excited to see where it takes her, and I feel like I don't know that she's going to make it the distance, but we'll have to wait and see.
It was really
Um,
interesting how I will say with the whole Nick, Sierra, and Bella, how Nick is very open with the whole 50-50, 60-40, 30. Like he is
yes.
telling these girls exactly the percentages of attention that they are holding in his mind right now. And to be like, yeah, to be honest, at this morning, I was 80-20 for the other girl, but then you made out with me and now I'm back to 50-50. Lucky you.
And the way she acts as though she's won a medal at the Olympics to hear that he now 50-50 between her and another girl.
It's crazy when she's like, he was like, I'm gonna be honest, earlier I was 80-20 on Sierra, and Bella's like, no. Like, Bella, like that's not good.
But it's like and Bella, like when you told him that you were interested, that came out of nowhere and was weird. And then Nick is in the confessionals like, "Oh, it's just so hard. It's so confusing." It's like, "No, it's not." Like
Yeah.
it's
I
not
don't
that
know.
confusing. You know who you like.
See, the thing is, I thought he knew who he liked, and I still think I would probably bet on Sierra coming out on top. but it feels like towards the end of this stretch, he's back to actually kissing for the first time Bella. He's making out though with Sierra. I don't really know where this is going to end up.
He kisses Bella and says, I'm 50-50. She leaves so excited. And then he goes into the photo booth to aggressively make out with Sierra and grab her ass.
It's hard because I do think that he's had some conversations with where he even like kind of tells Bella in their last conversation that I'm feeling like I'm getting closer to making that decision, which I don't think you can say unless you're getting really close to that decision being Bella. Think maybe you kind of gotta not keep kissing her once you start, if you're telling her it's going the other way.
And that's the rob of it all.
Yeah, because then he goes straight to Sierra and he seems a little confused, but then she makes the move on him and he goes with it. So I'm like, is he going with it because it presents him like to him as an available like opportunity to make out with a very pretty girl? Or is he, all right, you're right, you got like Bella out of the back of my mind, I'm back in, like I've made my mind's clear again?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out at the first recoupling ceremony on Sunday night. Of note, Sierra is friends with Johnny and Cassie from season 5 of Love Island USA. So she got coached, I think, probably before she came into the villa.
This I did hear, and that's why I'm kind of rooting for Sierra, if I'm being honest. I saw that she had like 2 years ago a Love Island themed birthday party, and she was like really excited to get onto the show. So I'm like, this is a fan. She's so excited. This is cute.
I wish she had been an OG.
People are treating her like an OG. She's one of the sisters now, Kirsten.
Yeah. Well, they had an opening.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, okay. Who should we talk about next?
Should we finally talk about Hutta and Jeremiah of it all?
Yes, we should. First and foremost, Huda is in a relationship with Jeremiah, but she's more so in a relationship with hurting her own feelings.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. As we said, they definitely had little bouts of jealousy pop up here and there, but after that, they seem to be going pretty strong. They're very open with the fact that, oh, this person kissed me during the challenge. This is how I'm feeling. I'll make sure that I'm always honest in my communication with you. And for a little bit, as much as, yes, it's still love bomby and a little extreme, they seem to be doing pretty good. And I think that Hutta takes this opportunity, knowing they're doing pretty good, to do what I've been waiting for the most on this season.
Yes, she finally decides it's time to tell him that I have a daughter. And the way she tells him is strange. You'd think you'd be more rehearsed, like you know what you want to say, but I feel like it comes out very weird the way she does it. Like, oh, I have to tell you something and it's not bad, but I just really need you to know the truth. And really freaks out Jeremiah. And then when she finally like says, okay, I'm a mom, he's like, wow. Just real heavy exhales.
It's tough. I feel like Hutta I don't know if this was consciously or subconsciously, felt like she was kind of prepping Jeremiah for this. Look, she couldn't hold the secret. She was dropping hints left and right. They also were referring to themselves as the parents of the villa. They were mom and dad of the villa. Like, that's awfully risky business when you are a mother, hiding the fact that you're a mother, to being like, we're just mom and dad, right? Isn't it normal when people call me mom? Like,
well, and I feel like that was a situation where she was like, oh, and if he like agrees with this, maybe he'll be more okay with me having an actual child, which I don't think is rational, but it could be a way someone thinks. And so the way like first of all, like when you don't tell people this foundational information about yourself, right? It you're leaving it now in a position where it could come out as a good thing or a bad thing, and you're invested in this person, so you want them to react well. Whereas I think my point after the premiere was like, I think you just have to be upfront, because if someone isn't gonna fuck with you for that reason, then like, don't good, you won't waste your time on someone. Like, imagine if all these few days had gone by and then Jeremiah's like, well, I'm out then because there are single women here that I can go date that don't have kids, and I don't want to be a dad at my young age, right? So she builds it up by not telling him in the first place. And then when she finally tells him, he has like honestly a pretty good reaction. Like, he has a few heavy exhales, but he says, that's a big bomb, but it's big news. It's not a bad thing. Like,
Yeah.
it's,
That's I think you're running a risk. Like,
yes.
I think you could run a potentially like smaller long-term risk by telling people at the beginning, but then in the short term, every single person could just ice you out from even trying to get to know you. And so maybe that's what she was trying to avoid. Obviously, she put herself in the spot where she got to have the like, this is my one opportunity for people maybe not to know that I'm a mom right away, and I can like have fun on Love Island, which I don't blame people necessarily for wanting to come
Yes.
on the show and have fun, but I think she's setting herself up for a potential very upsetting scenario. And I think a lot of people thought that this is where this was going. I saw people online being like, this is the worst reaction that he possibly could have had. This looks disastrous. I think it's not perfect, but I don't know many 25-year-olds that are going to have an absolutely perfect reaction to finding out that the person that they've been spending 3 straight days with romantically
Yeah.
has a kid. And
Which
I don't think that's
and like
wrong.
3 days in Love Island is probably like 3 weeks in the real
Exactly.
world, right? And so imagine you spend every day with someone for 3 weeks and then they're like, "Oh, by the way, I also have a child and I never told you." Like, it's definitely jarring. Like, I don't know, and as you said, like, as like a 25-year-old is gonna have like that, "Oh my god, I'm so excited. I've always wanted to be the not a stepdad, but the dad who stepped up." Like, that's not probably going to be like the first reaction of most people of that age. It doesn't mean that it's a deal breaker for them. Like, Huda says, if it's a deal breaker, just be honest with me. And he says, right now I like you a lot. Like, all I can do is tell you how I feel right now, and right now I like you, and like, let's get through this. Um and he says, if we do this the right way, we get through the whole season and we win this, like, we'll have already built so much that I don't think that like you being a mom could shake that.
Can I say that was a red flag for me?
Yes, because it is
Because
a red flag.
when he says, if we get through this and win this, I was like, why is winning this the first thing that we're talking about? Like, because this is a very serious conversation. And I actually thought that most of it was handled pretty well. Jeremiah admits if he had heard right off the bat, like, hey, I'm Huda and I'm a mom, it probably would have been a deal breaker for him. And he might not have gotten to know her. And now that he likes her a lot, he is seeing like great things and he still really enjoys her. But I think the like if we get through this and we win, like why is winning part of this? He does say I think that he's joking, but I was like, I don't know. This being the first thing in like a serious
Not
conversation kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
It felt serious to me. It felt real to me. Um I also think that there's the added pressure. Jeremiah's on TV. He's getting this jaw-dropping news, and he's also being aware of how it makes him look if he spends all this time with someone and then maybe just like, oh, I don't want to be a dad. Like, I'm gonna go like date someone else
Yeah.
instead. Like, Jeremiah wants to win Love Island, which is fair. Everyone who goes on Love Island should want to win Love Island. So I feel like there's just so many layers to having it be this big reveal that it's like nobody can fully win.
I think Jeremiah really wants to win Love Island. Now,
Yes.
the
He's a
only part
gamer.
the part that made me think maybe that's not the case is that he admitted that he had told what like 10 plus people that he loved them before, so like that's kind of a lot for 25. So maybe I was like maybe he is just a little love bomby, but he said it's not necessarily his same pattern in his current life. It was much more the past. So I'm still just like
I
on guard reevaluating how much is he love bombing to win the game versus how much is he actually just
mhm.
falling really, really hard for Huda.
I can see a situation where someone has a pattern of falling really hard and fast. perhaps overly affectionate to people they don't know that well and getting into relationships really fast thinks, if I'm just myself, I think that would do well on Love Island, like
Possible.
it's
Play to your
there's so
strengths.
exactly, right? Like it might just be he's naturally good at Love Island because he naturally falls for people fast and like can build a bond that
Yeah.
is good for like 6 weeks and then it falls apart.
They very well could both be true. I'm not writing off Jeremiah or Jeremiah and Huda as a couple. I actually think that the fact that he was immediately affectionate with her, they were affectionate in bed. They seemed to seem like on very good coupley terms. They
Yeah.
didn't really change their behavior. So I am now, egg on my face in a week, kind of believing it. Like, kind of thinking this is legit. Like, they actually really like each other. That is not to say that this is going to last forever, but I think they both really believe in this moment that they are extremely strong.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. I mean, Huda after this is upset and feeling, oh, he didn't respond how I wanted him to respond. And so that's where I go into like hurting your own feelings by creating this big like moment. And
Yes.
then I don't know that he could have ever said exactly what she wanted him to, but then they get into bed, they are kissing right away, and then everything is fine. So like I don't think it was like long-term upset, but
I
I don't
think
know.
that she's fine to have a small reaction, which I think this was not an over the top thing. She didn't like cry to his face and yell, "Why didn't you
Yeah.
have a better reaction?" Like, none of that happened. She just talked to her friend Shelly and said, like, obviously, I wish it went better. She says he gave you good signs. So hold on to that part. And Heather's like, you're right. I just have to be patient and see where it was going to go. By telling him now, we put ourselves on this timeline where we were going to have to give him a little time. So I'm glad to see that the conversation was all look, it doesn't always need an apology. Sometimes a conversation works.
Sometimes you can just say, "Do you want to kiss?" And then they go, "Oh, do you want to kiss me?" And then you just kiss,
There
and
we
then
go.
it's over. That's what happened in this one. We do have what feeds into this, the Jeremiah Huda is the game getting to fourth base,
Oh boy.
which they find out that they have this activity and they are talking about like what the bases are. I think it's Shelly says that she thinks hugging is first base.
It's like, oh my god, people really don't know the bases. It's actually wild. Is that not a
Yeah,
thing
so
anymore?
for people who don't know the bases, Scally, can you just break them down?
All right. Well, I felt like we are a little more mature. Okay, whatever. People, let's say first base is making out, second base, hand stuff, third base, more than hand stuff, and fourth base is all the way.
See, it's as easy as that. And where is hugging? I guess that's what you do in like in the dugout.
That's when you're like getting up to bat.
um, this challenge
It's a
was
bunt.
so crazy.
This was interesting. Now you have to openly rank the top 4 men in your dream lineup, apparently. So it's seemingly going to create a lot of drama. It does feel like a lot of the women just slotted the same exact men into the same base over and over and over.
It was interesting in that way. They call him third base ace for a reason. um,
Yeah.
so yeah, basically they had to line up the men, first base, second base, third base, home run. And at first base, there was like a big old bowl of popcorn with baseballs in it, and you have to retrieve the baseballs with your partner using only your mouths. The second, you have to take off your tops. I didn't know it had to be with their mouths. I thought they
It
could
was
use their
no
hand,
hands
but
allowed. It was with their mouths.
it was with their mouths. And then you spray each other down with I think what was supposed to be ketchup and mustard, but was
Yeah.
clearly not actually. It was like
Just
water with
goo.
food coloring or something. It was disgusting. And then you scrub each other with a foam finger. Third, you have to like find a popsicle and then kiss with the popsicle. Now, the logistics on some of these kisses with the popsicle, I was like, how is this not triggering both of your gag reflexes right now? Because some of them had like a whole ass like freezy.
Look, it was wild. Some of these people are already disgusting kissers. I'm gonna say it. I've
Yeah,
seen some screenshots, unfortunately, of how some of them are kissing, and it is absolutely wild. Introduce a
I
popsicle to the mix, and this is dangerous.
no, there was when Huda does her kiss with Jeremiah in this challenge, there's a moment where she like pulls back and just like sticks her whole tongue out, just like wide tongue out. It was, and listen, people, a good kiss is a conversation between the two mouths. It feels good for both of you. You adjust to the person you're kissing, whatever. It's a wide tongue.
I don't personally get it.
It's a wide tongue.
Tongue first is
Um,
aggressive, but it seems to work for a lot of people. And I kind of missed how third base is that much different from fourth. Just it's making out with the lack of a popsicle.
well, I think in theory they wouldn't have to kiss with the popsicle. They just were choosing to kiss
Sure.
with the popsicle.
Were they lady
That's
and tramping a popsicle? Like, was that the goal?
I think so. Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know. It was, and some of them were like biting through the popsicle, and I was like, "Do your teeth not hurt?
Yeah.
How do you not have brain freeze?" Like it I didn't at the end of the challenge, Ian's voiceover was like, "The game doesn't make a lot of sense, but they sure seem to be having fun," and that's how I felt watching it.
And that's where I'm at. I think that, like we said, Love Island USA has turned the challenges into something that will either create drama or be revealing. And so, while this didn't make the most sense, it wasn't all that compelling on every single run through. Love Island knows what they're doing. They bring in 2 new bombshells that we didn't even know we were getting. Hannah and Amaya come in and they get their turn picking all 4 boys as well.
And chef's kiss perfection. So Hannah is 23. She's from Arizona. And she gets right into it. She has Austin on first base. Literally, her top pops open. He didn't grab it, it just popped open. So she had to retie her bikini top. Then she goes to second base, makes out with Charlie.
I think
Then,
Jeremiah on
no,
second, Charlie on
Jeremiah. Oh, yeah,
third.
Jeremiah on second. I think she did kiss him, but nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Perhaps. She fully makes out with Charlie with the popsicle, and then has a big old make out with Nick at the fourth base.
Yeah.
Which it's like, yes, introduce more, make it a love square. We don't need a love triangle.
Why
We love
not?
those more complex shapes.
Look,
But
I
am I
will not lie. I did giggle when Charlie's like, I love baseball. This is why Americans are so like, okay, Charlie, calm down.
listen, Charlie was worried, and now he knows that he won't be first out because a woman will be
Yeah.
going home.
Charlie going around the entire villa being like, I just really, 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 really want a connection. Like, okay, we get it. You really want to stay on Love Island.
Which is listen, Charlie thinks he's Miguel so bad, but you could never be Miguel.
Few can be.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost impossible. But here's where it really gets juicy because Amaya, she's 25. She's from New York City. When she's describing that to everyone, she says, you know, the city, the Big Apple, the city that never sleeps. And I was like, give us a third one. Keep going.
Keep going.
It's very
Yeah.
much like New York. Ever heard of it?
Now, Maya picks Charlie for first, Nick for second, Ace for third, and Jeremiah is not getting away with second base here anymore. Jeremiah is fourth. He'll be making out, and Huda did not enjoy watching second base. So, fourth base, she is ready to hysterically cry, it looks like.
Huda is like making like the ugliest stank face. Not that she's ugly, like the facial expression is like a stank face. She is like when they're kissing, I didn't see who it was. One of the other girls goes to put their hands over her eyes so she doesn't have to see, and she's like pulling them off like, no, I need to see every moment of this. She like is putting up the double middle fingers at them, and she keeps calling Amaya a bitch, which I do not appreciate.
Not perfect.
I mean, I was going to say actually in the premiere that like Huda says bitch a lot. Like even when she comes in, she's like, "Oh, you're so hot, bitch." Like she uses it both in a positive and apparently pejorative way. And she's like I'm not mad at Jeremiah, but I like, who does she think she is? Like, I don't like her. I don't have to like her. Like, that was the craziest thing you could do. And I'm like, yes, you and Jeremiah have a great connection. You've revealed your secret to him. Everything's going well. You're not boyfriend and girlfriend. You have not said you wouldn't explore any other connections. And so as much as it is totally understandable to be upset and not enjoy seeing the person you like kissing someone else, obviously no one's going to like that unless that's like their kink, right? And that's fine. You don't have to like it, but you don't have to be mean about it.
Look, I don't say this often. I don't get good vibes from I don't get good vibes from Amaya. I don't know why. I genuinely
Really?
don't. She comes in, and now I think that picking Jeremiah is fine. Totally fine. Pick him, do whatever. It's a challenge. Go for who you want. In fact, I encourage it. Take the big swing. I think it's how you get airtime on this show. Go ahead. Jeremiah stands there like the stiffest board I've ever seen in my entire life and does not make out with her like at all in the scene. And she's like climbing him up and down, like going way over the top. He says to her, like, I'm not interested in getting to know anyone here. I only like Hutta. And maybe that will change. But as of right now, Amaya's like, that's not the signs he's giving me. He's interested in getting to know me. And I'm like, this is a weird vibe.
Yeah, when they're talking to the boys, I did like when Amaya said, "Oh, you're married? Like, show me your ring." That
Yes.
okay, that's like a playful, flirty thing. Yeah, I don't think Jeremiah is interested in her. Um, I think she wants the storyline, perhaps, and I don't know if I don't know if I'm getting the same bad vibe that you're getting, but it's very rare for you to ever like verbalize having a bad vibe about someone, so I am on high alert.
I just like I don't know. It's not vibing with me, and it just might be that it feels too put on or whatever the reason is. It just didn't feel super genuine. It felt a little off, and so I was just like, I don't know. I don't think that she needs to come in here and respect like Jeremiah and Hutta's relationship by any means because people are like engaged on Love Island and other people don't respect it anyway.
Yeah.
So like whatever. It's week 1. Like I don't care about that at all. I just thought when he was pretty clearly removing himself from the situation over and over. And I don't know. It came off disingenuous to me as a character at all on TV.
And that's fair.
We'll see. I could be so wrong.
Well, and it's also like that's her first moment in the show. She's been amped up by producers.
Sure.
When we see her like actually interacting more normally, maybe that'll give us a different vibe, or maybe it won't. Like, we don't know her or Hannah very well, so we'll just have to keep an eye out and see what we think of them. Hannah has a much better philosophy because she goes in and is definitely, I think, trying more with more men. Like the conversations seem a bit more genuine.
Yeah, I think that she has a couple conversations talking with Austin, who seems to be extremely available at this point. So,
Yeah.
probably a good option. They are talking a lot about sex, lots about sex, where they're talking about making a comedy porno.
It's well, but even this is where they're like talking about porn, and Austin makes a comment of like, "Oh yeah, I would make like a funny one," but then has nothing else to say, and then Hannah fully carries the conversation by like pushing that conversation forward, and I did think that it was funny, what she said that I will not be repeating because this conversation is being recorded.
Look, she likes to make short little films.
And that's all that needs to be said about that. But yeah, they seem okay. Amaya also talks to Ace a little bit, but it was like it didn't really seem like that much when we've seen how much Ace is like putting into conversations with Shelly. Even Ace's conversation with Bella felt like more than the one with Amaya.
I think if it was anyone but Ace, I would have thought they were giving a lot in this conversation because he is very flirty. He's like, I love your
Yes.
eyes. I love your smile. I love your laugh. Our kiss was so great. But I don't know. I feel like I feel like Ace is proposing to the like every single girl he
Yeah.
sees. So
Well, I think Amaya's problem is she came in and she pointed out that Jeremiah is her number one, and Ace is like clearly seething with silent hate for Jeremiah and like does not like him. And so
oh,
I
can we
can
do,
see
let's
what
address this.
he's like going around like, oh, do you think Jeremiah's a love bomber? Oh, like I don't believe it. Like, and then there's the conspiracies because allegedly Ace has like liked posts of Huda's in the past. And so people
Mm.
are like, wow, like he's mad because like he like has followed Huda and likes her. And it's like, but like they don't follow each other. So if anything, I would say that they like maybe liked a random post like a long time ago. It's not the same as like the Shelly, like they've liked almost all of each other's
Yeah.
posts and have like talked. So I don't think that that's part of it, but I think that Ace is like identifying Jeremiah as a gamer and does not want a perception of Jeremiah as like a trustworthy love interest out there, which is why like he literally to Taylor is like talking shit, which
He's
we
planting
don't
seeds.
we do not often see the men talk about the other men like that on Love Island. It's not typical, and I'm here for it.
Look, stay messy, King. I think that him going to Taylor and being like, there's most of the answers did not surprise me, but especially one, and no one else sees it, is Jeremiah. The 10 people thing was crazy. But Taylor's a lot quicker to write it off. He's like, I just think Jeremiah's the guy who, like, if I asked him if he loved Huda right now, he'd probably say yes. So I think that they are clocking him a little bit. And I think that Ace is saying, like, it doesn't seem real. I think I'm like
Yeah.
halfway there.
Honestly, I trust Ace's instincts.
To quote Nick, I am like 80% trusting, 20% maybe not. We'll see.
Oh man, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Um we also get um Hannah and Charlie. They talk about what type of music they listen to, which is everything. Um but specifically, Charlie's been listening to old school Katy Perry at the gym, which is so funny because he doesn't look like he would listen to that, but he's just rocking out to Teenage Dream.
Which, like, look, uh, Teenage Dream, all bops, great album.
Yes.
But
Period.
I mean, Katy Perry's also not like the artist of the moment right now. So it is an interesting pick to bring up. So I mean, I guess at least you know he's being genuine and not jumping on a trend there.
Well, he has to specifically mention that it is old school Katy Perry for a reason.
Yeah, look.
Like
You gotta be
he's not bopping to Women's World.
no, not very much. Not now. Hannah does tell Charlie basically he is the embodiment of her type. Her type on paper, you know, tall, brown hair, brown eyes. She's very into him. I do think that this is one that could play a big part of the next batch of episodes.
Yes, because you say he gives her a kiss. They were making out on the dock. I was like,
Look.
they went right into it.
Yeah, they are going ahead. I mean, they've already made out before in the challenge, so why not go ahead and do the same here? It is definitely a makeout, but I was like, I'll be generous. It's a kiss.
It was first base. Yeah, I saw a TikTok a couple of days ago, and the creator's name is escaping me, which I'll try and find it so that I can give them credit. But they basically said none of the dynamics in the villa right now will be set in stone until like a blonde comes into the villa, because that is where people's true intentions come out. And that's where you see if people are going to act crazy.
It is really wild how men on Love Island act when a blonde walks in the room. Like,
It is insane. It's
I don't
actually
understand.
insane, and I can attest as a blonde that that's not how it is in real life, although I'm not, like, Love Island hot, so I guess that makes sense.
It is truly wild. I am very interested to see because I do feel like Sierra turned a lot of the men's heads. I think that we have two new bombshells who very much could do the same,
Yes.
but I don't know. I'm curious to see.
It feels wild that the next episode is gonna have a recoupling.
Very wild.
Like, that is so like, if it wasn't gonna be something tonight and then bombshells coming in on Sunday, I would have thought that it would be on, like, Monday or Tuesday, which, oh, yeah, we're pretty sure episodes are gonna be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday,
No, I thought
Thursday,
Sunday,
Friday.
Tuesday.
No, that's what
Oh,
we
good.
thought, and then I think it was just for the first week, because I saw a
Okay.
post where Ariana said they're on every day but hump day. So I think that it was just the first week had an extra episode, which I think they also did to us last year, and we were confused. So
Makes sense. Okay.
I
I'm
don't,
good
but
with that.
we don't know. It could also be that there's none on Monday and there's one on Wednesday. Regardless, we'll be here after the Tuesday and Friday episodes.
Perfect. Perfect.
Is there anything else that we haven't talked about that we need to talk about?
Doing a quick scan. I mean, there's really random moments. Like when Ace asks Amaya, like, what are you passionate about in life? She says, I'm passionate about being the light in someone's darkness. I was like, oh, that's like really deep for Love Island and not an answer that
But
I
no,
would
but also, what does that mean?
exactly.
What do you mean?
Like, can I have something that like, oh, okay. Like, where do you go from there?
Well, at least you have a light to guide your path through the darkness of figuring out what that means. I also liked when Amaya says that she's a nurse, and Nick was very eager to be like, I'm a nurse too. Like, let's connect on that, because I feel like sometimes people like have stereotypes about male nurses, and I like that he's just like, I'm a nurse and I'm proud to be a nurse, and like,
Yes.
that's the way it is. I loved that.
Yeah. Do love his passion for being a nurse. He's brought it up a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very cool. I'm trying to think of anything else that was like really stood out.
I think we hit all of the games. There's so much that happened here. It's really impossible to talk about every single thing. I would say, which couple do you want to see a lot more of in the next batch?
Oh, I guess for me it's not necessarily about like a specific couple that I want to see, because I feel like the couples are all going to shuffle very
Mhm.
much so. Um I need to see more Alondria. I
Agreed.
feel like we're being robbed. Like, at one point she got 2 breakfasts brought to her, you know? Like, I need to see her and see more of that energy. And I'm fine with if she's just sticking it out with Taylor and they're happy. That's great. But I'd like to see more of them as a couple, because they really got not a lot in this first batch of episodes. I want to see more Shelly. I want to see the potential implosion, potential when you know of Huda and Jeremiah.
Yeah.
I
All good options.
What about you? Who do you want to see more from?
I am interested in seeing more from, let's see. I feel like out of just like morbid curiosity, I want to know what's going on with Bella. I don't know if she's
Yeah,
going home.
I I need to see more so that I can try to understand her,
Yeah,
because right now I
exactly.
don't understand. It's like a science experiment kind of
Yeah,
situation. I think that's fair.
I would say so. And I want to see Sierra. I feel like we've gotten a decent
Yes.
amount, but I think she faded late in the week. And I wonder if that's just like, all right, let's show Bella what we got her, or if Sierra is kind of fading into the background. So
I
hoping
mean,
she reemerges.
they ended our Friday episode with that makeout in the photo booth. So
Sure.
she's front and center. Well, at least
Okay.
her
Well,
ass was.
yeah. Didn't hear a lot of talking going on, but you know.
That's
Wait, actually, can we talk about when Huda does talk? When Huda moves across the backyard as Sierra is talking to Jeremiah?
Yes, please.
Because Sierra pulls Jeremiah for a talk. Jeremiah is facing as straightforward as he could, not angling his body even a single
Yeah.
inch towards Sierra, which I think is already a little bit of overkill. Huda beelines it right in front of them, can't walk 6 inches in front of their face, and sits about 10 feet away staring at them the entire time. It is such a wild move, and the kind of stuff that I really think Jeremiah probably should not love, but it's so fascinating to me about this relationship because they both like when they do that.
Yeah, well, because it's the thing where he would do the same thing, I think.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it.
Well, I think that we're going to see more of that. More
I
of
think so
the
too.
toxic jealousy.
And I think that if they do continue on this path, I know that Jeremiah, we're joking about how he wants to win. I think it's a really bad path for a winner. I don't think this couple is winning potential. I think that they want to see some struggles, not just a clean shot all the way through. And
Yeah.
they don't want to see people who are just absolutely glued to each other, like have personality with other people too.
100% agreed. I also feel like Casa Amor will wreck them if they make it that far.
Ooh.
But we'll see. We will see about that. Yeah. So I guess that's the first week of Love Island USA season 7 is done.
Oh my God. I can't believe it's done. I am so happy that we are back. I'm so
Yes.
excited to see what else comes from this season of Love Island. I feel like we've barely scratched the surface, but it's also going too fast at the same time. So I'm excited for week 2.
Me too. And while we're waiting for week 2, Scally, if people want to hear more from you, where can they find you?
Ooh, people can find myself and Matt Lagori doing another little bit of a binge talking about the challenge all the way from the beginning over on the Free Agents podcast, posted like twice a week generally. Also did a Survivor 50 draft, which will be posted this episode over on the Free Agents podcast. So go check that out. And then anything else I'm doing will be on Twitter, Brian_Scally, on Blue Sky, at Brian Scally, on Twitch, B Scally. So go look all those up.
Yes, and you can listen to me every week talking pop culture, celebrity gossip, trending topics over on Mess Magnets. You can check that out at messmagnets.com as well. Follow me everywhere at Kirsten Said What. As for Love Island, you can find us specifically on the We Know Love Island feed. If you're not already subscribed or rated, please go and do that now. At the beginning of a new season of Love Island is the easiest way for new people to find the show. So we really, really appreciate any 5-star ratings and reviews. And of course, you can do that at loveisland.com. But we'll be back after the Tuesday night episode of Love Island USA. Thanks for listening. Bye.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.